everyone, happy Wednesday. Hi, flashlight. He's always here. Big yawn. Hello, flashlight. He thinks I'm only here for him, but I'm here for you too. Today we're going to go through a mobility, Pilates-based flow. It feels like, perhaps, our music is a little loud, so I'm just checking our levels and then we'll switch that. So get out your mat, and if you have something that can help assist you in a stretch today, that would be ideal. I'm gonna bump our music down a teeny tiny bit. A teeny tiny bit. You let me know if that's what needs to happen. All right. I do have, oh, Flash is ready. Flash is all ready. I do have a special strap that I'm gonna use. It's not that special. It just has a couple options of loops that you can put your feet into and your hands into. It's a little easier to hang on to. And we'll be using it for a quad stretch as well as a hamstring stretch and a hip stretch at the end of our session. If you don't have one of these, I've linked it in the chat, so there's an Amazon link there for you. If you don't want to get one, grab a belt, a yoga strap, the tie on your bathrobe, something that you can use to hook your feet in. A towel will also suffice. All right, are you ready to get started? You just need yourself and your mat. We're gonna start at the edge of the mat today. Yes, we are. Are we gonna stretch? He's not gonna stretch. All right, let's stand with your feet a little bit wider than hip width distance. If you have a pet nearby, get your oxytocin fix real quick. Get your oxytocin quick. Okay, now you go. Let's roll our shoulders up to go back. It always takes us a few minutes. This one's a little angry with me because we didn't go to our normal park this morning because we wanted to make it in on time to make sure we got all logged in for you. Let's reverse the shoulder rolls back to front. We'll just let Flash do his thing and find his place. They always want to be part of everything, right? Which is kind of a great thing. When's the last time any human paid as much attention to you as your dog did? That's what I want to know. Let's take our arms all the way up. I want you to just stretch through your side body. So just kind of reach up through one arm and then bring it back down. Reach up through the other one, bring it back down. Do it one more time. And last time, and then we're gonna begin to roll down. So just bring your chin towards your chest, round forward. We'll take our hands all the way to the ground, let our head spill forward, and just take a moment to breathe. You can bend or straighten your knees, whatever feels good for you. Just let your spine lengthen towards the ground. We're gonna bend our knees a little bit deeper, going down for a moment, and then stretch your hips to the top. Flash, go lay down, please. Bend and stretch. Let's do two more. Bending and stretching. They say never work with kids and dogs on camera. I wonder why they say that, flashlight. Huh? Let's walk out to our hands and knees. Lowering your knees down. Flash, go lay down. You can go right here. It's gonna be great. Thank you. I don't know what else you want. Goodbye. We're live, okay? We're live and you need to go. Go. Bye-bye. All right, everybody else, let's move our spines. Let's round our spines up. Hi, Tracy. And then let's release and extend in the opposite direction. And we'll do this a couple times, rounding. I have my toes tucked under for a stretch of the bottoms of my feet. If you'd rather just let your feet go down, that's okay too. Let's go two more, rounding the spine. And extending, just trying to find some space between your shoulder blades. Good. And extending the spine. Really nice. All right, we're gonna start in a neutral or stable centered spine, so not arched and also not rounded. From here, let's take one leg out to the side. We want it to extend directly out from your hip. And then I'm gonna untuck my toes on the other side and walk my hands forward. From here, it's a nice flat back as you slide down, reaching your hips for your heels. And ideally, we should be getting an inner thigh stretch. So you do want your leg as close to your hip level as possible, but if it has to be back a little bit farther, you'll get something. You'll definitely get some stretch there. Now from here, we'll press through our shin, through our foot, come forward, and if you like, you can go forward as much as possible to open your hips, just depending on how open they are right now. So let's go backward, just a little bit, and then forward. And just thinking about almost like flossing through the spine, so reaching from your tail through the crown of your head here, and then reaching from your head through your tail to come forward. Let's do one more like this. We're going backward, big stretch backward, and big stretch forward. And then come back to center, and we're gonna take that same leg and just slide it forward as far as you can. I'm gonna keep mine on the outside of my mat. That's where my stretch wants to happen today. And just let your hips drop down. Now, not to worry in terms of how much drop you have or how much flexibility you have. Just find the space that feels like it's opening, that it's nourishing, and we'll be here for just a moment. That's it. Good work. From here, let's shift back on the knee, and if you can, just flex your foot back. Sometimes that's a nice little hamstring stretch to get. First thing, supporting yourself with your hands. And then we'll come all the way back to the center. Take a rounded spine one time. Take an extended spine or an arch spine. Come back to that centered place. Let's extend the other leg out. Change out a little bit. Walk your hands forward, and then we'll start to sit back. This is one of my favorite little hip glide sequences. I know it can be challenging first thing in the morning to get into. You just do the best you can. You could always, if this is not in your wheelhouse this morning, you could always lay on your back and just bend your knees into your chest and work on the hip fold in that way. Good. Tracy, I see you're here. I'm not exactly sure what's happening, but sometimes the comments aren't working in the videos, and I know a couple people have had a hard time commenting, so I'll have to investigate that. The good news is we did just reach a milestone on the YouTube channel. The other news is I have to figure out what to do with it. The milestone is to start offering some memberships and things like that, so we'll see what happens. Good. All right, let's bring it forward one more time. Let's send that leg forward. Again, I'm going to keep mine to the outside of my mat. Just drop down through the hips. And we're just breathing here. Trying to unclench the toes. Always the challenge, right? Allowing the weight to drop through your hip. And then when you're ready, let's shift back and just get that hamstring stretch. So if you're wondering why we're not into the abdominal aspect yet, well, the thing about the body is you can never really leave one part behind. So technically, if you're breathing, you are into the abdominal aspect of Pilates. But I always like to start out with some hip warm-ups, some spine warm-ups. Good, let's come all the way around. And then let's come and we'll have a seat. And the reason why is just to give ourselves a chance to wake up our bodies before we ask them to do some things that they may or may not be ready to do. I'm just gonna tie in front so I don't have that on the back. There's such a, I don't know, maybe misnomer is the word I'm looking for, where we just expect that our bodies will show up for us. And when you hit a certain age, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it takes a little coaxing. So we're gonna take our hands on the backs of our legs, the feet are grounded, we're gonna rock back. And just find that nice, deep, round spine. Let's rock it side to side, so maybe putting pressure into one hip and then the other. Just kind of exploring what's going on. What's here for us right now? What needs a little bit of stretch? What needs a little bit of strength? And then we'll come all the way back to center. And then let's do that again. We'll roll back. This time, instead of rocking, we're gonna take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, just think about sinking your lower abdominals towards the mat. So we're breathing in, Nice and calm on the upper body. Exhale, imagine your belly button was just kind of going down a drain. And again, breathe in. Exhale. And one more, breathe in. And exhale, and we're gonna use the power of our hips, our spine, our arms to come all the way back up. Open your legs to a diamond, stretch forward, get those outer hips nice and warm. Bit of a breath. Good, let's come back to our bent leg position. Sit tall at the top, then roll back. This time as we breathe in, let's lift the right arm up. So we'll breathe in and reach as high as you can without falling back. And then as you exhale, reach your hand, sink your belly. Exhale all the way. Other side, big reach up. Exhale, sink it down. Now, big challenge, both arms reach up. Try not to move your shape, try not to move your shape. Ooh, it's hard. And then reach all the way up, open the knees and stretch forward. Good morning, everyone. I'm not sure if the chat is working, but I'm happy to see that you're here with me. I see a couple people logged on. Do what you can, take good care, keep breathing. Reach up through the crown of your head, roll back again. Find that space that feels challenging but doable. Then we're gonna take that right arm out to the side laterally. So breathe in, reach that right arm out, bring it back to center. Breathe in, reach the left arm out, sink the belly as it comes back to center, and then both arms reach out. Hold it 3, hold it 2, hold it 1. Good, come back to center, come all the way up. Open your knees. We're almost there, getting nice and warm. Big stretch, roll up through the spine. Last time, deep breath in. Exhale, roll back, find that challenging but doable place. This time we're gonna lift the right arm up to the sky and the left arm out, and we're gonna hold for 3, for 2, for 1. Bring it back with control. Hold on if you need to. Curl that tail under a little bit more. Left arm reaches up, building some heat. Right arm reaches out. We hold for 3, 2, 1. Bring it back to the center and then roll down to your back. Whoa. Are we warm? I feel like we might be warm. Let's take our hands on our low abdominals and then just take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, practice that sinking sensation. So your belly is moving towards your back, is moving towards the mat. We're just trying to eliminate any space between the front of our pelvis and the mat itself. So think about how heavy can you get. We'll do 2 more breaths like this. Big breath. Exhale fully. Last one. Exhale fully. Now keep that exhalation, that weight. Walk your heels closer towards your sits bones. And see if you can just maintain that sense of weight as you bring your right knee into your chest and then lower it down. Now, this can be a mobilizing exercise. Let's go left, where you're simply just folding your knee into your chest, or you can start to integrate a little bit more kind of abdominal work. And the way you do that is by pretending like your pelvis is resting on something that's very unstable, and one false move means that you might fall off of it. I don't know if that image works for everybody, but the idea is just to keep your hips still. That's a simpler way to say it. Let's go 1 more knee fold to the other side. We think that sometimes mobility exercises have to be super hard, but sometimes they are going to be hard in their focus. So let's bring that right knee in, and then we're just going to switch legs. Hold on to your abdomen, and as you switch legs, can you keep your belly from popping up into your hands? It's going to create a little tension there. Some of you might feel like you're bracing. Definitely check in and make sure that you're not arching your back to make this happen. But again, it's that belly to back to mat sensation. Do what you can to keep it connected. And just side to side. Now, if this feels pretty doable and easy, you can challenge yourself by taking your knees a little bit farther away, or your feet farther away. And if you feel like you can manage this without a whole lot of effort, then you can try to reach your heels farther away. That's how we progress it. But there's no need to go farther away than absolutely necessary, unless you feel like you have a good amount of control over your pelvis. Let's go for 4, 3, 2, 1, and then bring both knees into your chest. Give yourself a little circle around your sacrum. And then go the other way, massaging out your low back. I'm just creating a little more connection, a little more awareness on the back of your body. From here, let's place your feet down. We're gonna work on our upper contraction or abdominal curl. So take your arms to the sky. Let's nod your head forward, look to your legs, hands come onto your legs. And then we're gonna pull you up a little bit higher, higher than you might normally be able to get without the help of your hands. Stay here for a moment. Release your arms, relax your shoulders away from your ears, and see if you can curl up for 3, 2, and 1. Lower all the way down. Now, all of the abdominal curls forward, the forward flexion is going to be dependent on how lengthened your spine is. So this time as we come up, curl forward, take your hands behind your legs. Pull yourself up and imagine your spine elongating a bit more. Can you feel that length? Once you got it, release, holding for 3, for 2, for 1, all the way down. One more time, reach those hands forward, nod forward. Imagine the length on your lower back, curling up, lifting a little higher if you can. Now use your muscles to hold you there, release, and we're gonna pump those arms, breathing in and out, breathing in and out. Now this is the first level of the legs being here. If you are feeling good about this place, let's bring your legs to tabletop. You can be down or you can be up, whatever you need. Breathing. If you want to progress, we can extend the legs up to the sky. Keep breathing in, breathing out. If your legs are up, let's try a little challenge, bringing one leg down to the ground, reaching long. Almost there. Can you pump a little more vigorously? And can you switch legs? We'll be here for 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend your knees in, lower all the way to the mat. And then keep your right knee in, but let's extend your left leg nice and long. We'll take your left hand on your right knee. Let's go ahead and take a little twist over to the side, stretching through your hip. Coming back through center, take your right hand on your right knee, take a little opening here, opening the inner thigh. And we're gonna bring that leg back over your hip, flex both feet, and have kind of a tabletop, or more towards a tabletop, that would be here actually, with your leg. And then bring your arms up, make fists, and plug your shoulders into the ground. So we're gonna imagine that our thigh bone is like a big wooden spoon, and because it's imaginary, there's a bowl of frosting on the ceiling, and we're gonna scrape the bowl of frosting. It gets to be whatever flavor you like, but we wanna get all sides of the bowl. So the first thing we're gonna do here is draw your knee in as close to your chest as you can. Then you're gonna draw it across, just the knee, the hip stays still. We're gonna bring it down and around. You get to take it out to the side, hopefully without coming off your opposite hip, and then bring it all the way back to your chest. So let's go in these circles. The idea is to make the circles as large as possible without rolling off of your supporting hip or your supporting shoulder. And if you're doing this, thinking about moving or scraping frosting, then that brings in a little bit of resistance into the movement itself. So you want to feel like you're moving through something like frosting or peanut butter or mud or whatever it is. Let's do one more in this direction. This is helping all of our hip muscles to get really warm. And then let's reverse. So we're going to take it out to the side, all the way down and around. You can stand your foot up, but I'm trying to do it without a whole lot of support from outside of my hip joint, so all the way up. These are called CARs, controlled articulated ranges of motion. In Pilates, we also call them leg circles, but we do them with the leg extended. It's just a really good, juicy way to warm up your hip. It's challenging, especially if your hips are tight. Let's finish the last one. As you come back to the center, let's extend that leg up, and then I'd like you to reach it down to the ground with control without arching your back, trying to make it longer than the left leg. Hopefully that's how it feels. Let's bring the other one in, hugging, dropping, releasing, pulling it all the way down, opening your hip, and then let's get it ready to go to the other side. So if we flex that foot, we pull the knee in, we cross it around. Now, the hands and fists are giving you another little challenge because you're having to work with your shoulders and your pelvis instead of pushing your hands down to the ground. The fists are sometimes helpful in turning your muscles on in terms of support. So in your body, you have this all or nothing principle, which means when your brain gives your muscle a signal, it's going to turn on all of the muscle fibers from whatever nerve is touching it, or none of them if there's no signal, but it doesn't just choose some. So in theory, let's reverse. When we have more signals going to more parts of the body to be active, in theory, we are recruiting even more signals to help that muscle or those muscles do their job. If that didn't make sense to you, it barely makes sense to, I'm just kidding. I don't know if I did a good job explaining it. But essentially, the more you work, the more work happens, which could be a life lesson for some of you out there. Good. Last one. Let's extend it all the way up. Let's reach it all the way down. All right, so we have these warm hips. We're gonna take our arm up to the sky, start to peek forward. Let's roll up through the spine to the top. And then I'm gonna go ahead and grab my little strap here. If you have your bathrobe tie or your yoga strap, this could be helpful for you. One of the things that can be helpful with the strap is just simply looping it around the bottoms of your feet here. And then as you go down, you're kind of hanging on. As you come up, you're curling up. You can bend your elbows for a little help. You can push your arms out to the side. I'm actually gonna put my hands right inside this strap, and that'll be an easier way to hang on to it. So pressing out to the side. And then again, as I go down, it helps to work on the articulation of your back. It's not so much about getting up and getting down, but the strap helps you get the control you need so that as you're rolling back, you can actually try to move through the bones of your spine with a little more ease. Good. Big stretch here. Reaching down. Let's do one more time to come all the way up. And stretch through. Good. Now from here, I'm gonna go ahead and just take one loop off. Came back a little bit, and then we're gonna come all the way down, reaching that leg up to the ceiling. So what I'd like you to do with your strap, whatever you're doing, or you can hang on to the back of your leg, is just give the strap a little push so you feel the back of your leg get a little activated. I'm gonna hold it there for about 6 seconds or so. And then relax your leg, but keep it held. And think about engaging or contracting the muscles on the front of your thigh to help pull your leg towards you into a deeper stretch. You're gonna go right into a stretch that again is challenging, but doable. Once you're here, push into that strap again, hard as you can for about 6 seconds. And then relax out of the pressure, engage the front of your leg, and think about pulling that leg a little closer to you. We'll do it one more time. Press into the strap, hold it. We're attempting to kind of tire out the muscles on the back of the leg. And then relax Engage the muscles on the front of the leg and pull the leg closer towards you. So good. All right, let's release halfway out of that stretch or to a place that, again, isn't so kind of stretchy. I'm gonna hold on to both straps, put one arm down, keep your hips grounded, and cross your leg over to the side. Just breathe here. So a lot of us are gonna feel sensation, which is the teaching word for pain. Shouldn't be painful, but you know, stretching can be stretchy. So you might feel it on the outside of your lower leg or your hip or your thigh. Again, we're looking for a place that's challenging but doable. We don't want to be working into a space where we feel scared or angry or fearful or panicked. We're just like exploring the edges of that stretch. All right, use your hands to help your leg back over, and then let's go ahead and take an outer thigh stretch. I think I'm going to move around a room. Oh, maybe not. Where you're keeping that opposite hip down, but opening your leg up as far as you can. If you want to pull that leg up a little bit higher, use the wall. You can get a little more stretch for yourself there. Just a couple breaths here. Enjoy this piece, because we've got another little abdominal section coming up, which will also be enjoyable, but in a different way. All right, let's bend your knee in, and then I just like to take a little upside down pigeon, bringing your heel across to your shoulder, bending your knee, just getting a little more outer thigh stretch here. And then relax, and then let's go to the other side. So I'm just gonna exchange legs, lower one down, starting in your stretch, and then you're gonna push into that strap for about 6 seconds. Relax, activate the muscles on the front. I think of grabbing and pulling my thigh bone. There we go. And again, press in. Then activate and pull. Again, more stretch on this side for me. And again, never worry about how far you're going. I've got to go to my limits, and this is years of professionally dancing and teaching Pilates, so this is where I need to be today to find my stretch. We'll find our last one. Release, and then bring it across for that outer hip stretch. A little tighter on the side. Just exploring it. Oh, that's enough exploring. Let's go to the other side. Open it up. Reaching. They often say when we're stretching that moving is searching and stopping is facilitating change. Let's go ahead and bend and bring it across. And for various reasons that are too complicated for a 30-minute class, that may or may not be true. But I do think of like when you explore the end range of your mobility, then you are more aware of where that range is. And that means like maybe if you were to do a lunge, let's say, that you could go deeper somehow because your hamstring was longer, or maybe your hips are more open to do some of your other work. So long and short of it is to be aware of your end ranges is to have some options and choices. All right, speaking of which, let's get into our abdominal series of 5. So we're gonna pull the right knee into the chest. Let's keep it simple with both hands on the right knee. Extend the left leg out to a place where you can still keep that weight down in your pelvis. And then let's nod your chin forward, looking towards your knee, pulling really strong. We're gonna take a deep breath in, switch legs. As we switch legs from side to side, I'd like you to try to keep your back heavy. That's from your pelvis all the way to your rib cage. Everything is just pushing down. It's like you're in a floating raft and trying not to create any ripples in the water, okay? Let's go 2 and 1. Bring both knees into your chest, hands on your ankles. We're gonna reach both arms and legs straight up to the sky and then bring them back in. Then Reach them a little farther apart. Bring them back in. Everything is connected from the center. Reach them even farther apart. Bring them back in, and then you have the farthest you can possibly reach, out and back in. Let's start at the bottom. Reach them out and pull back in. A little higher. A little higher. Good, and then finally up to the top and pull back in. Lower your head, neck, and shoulders. Turn your head to the right. Find that stretch, feeling your shoulders down, and then to the left. Good. Let's reach one leg up to the sky. The other one hovers above the ground. Let's climb your leg. You're going to hold on wherever it's possible. And then we're going to pull the leg apart 2 times and switch. Pull, pull. Find your deepest stretch here. On the bottom with your hip, on the top with your hamstring, holding yourself up just like we practiced at the beginning. Let's go for 4 and 3, 2, and 1. Bend your knees in, lower all the way down. Let's take your hands behind your head. And before we curl the head up, just lengthen the back of your neck a little bit. And then let's curl forward, extending the legs up to the sky. We're gonna turn them out, heels together, toes apart. Flex your feet, lower your heels down as low as you can without arching your back, and then exhale, sink your belly to lift back up. Breathe in, sink, lift. Breathe in. Good. Let's do 2 more. Last one. Bend your knees, twist your elbow, left elbow to right knee, right to left, left to right, right to left, for 4, for 3, 2, 1. Bring your knees into your chest. Rock yourself up. Let's take a stretch forward. Woo. Always gets me. We got all 5 of them today. Excellent work. All right, from here, we're gonna go onto our stomach, and you want your, whatever you're using to be close by. We'll come onto our belly, making a little sphinx shape with the arms. And for right now, let's just start by kind of shrugging the shoulders up to the ears, like we're always told not to, but we're gonna press our forearms down to lengthen the shoulders away from that shrugged position, and then just take your eyes and your head up as high as you can, exploring that back bend from your upper back. Then we'll look the head down and then relax the back. So step 1 is push your forearms in. Step 2 is track the wall in front of you with your eyes looking up as high as you can. Step 3, nod your chin, lengthen the back of your neck. Step 4, lower your chest down. Let's do that twice more. Press and look and lower and release. Last one, press and look up and lower. And relax everything down and bring your hands into a triangle shape here. Towards the edge of the mat, we'll be looking down. We're gonna press your hips down, press your triangle down, and then just come up into just a moderate little swan is what we call it in Pilates. And then come all the way forward. So you can feel where that is for yourself. It's gonna be a less intense bend the farther your hands are forward. So I'm gonna move mine in a little bit more just to get a little bit more back bend. The idea here is you wanna allow your pelvis to rotate around your thigh bones so that your hips get really heavy to the mat and it's not so much pressure in your lower back. So let's try that a couple more times. Press the triangle down, slide your shoulders from your ears, back bend, press your hips down, lift your chest up, and all the way down. One more time. Really nice. All right, for our final trick, we're gonna do a little quad stretch. So if you have the stretch out strap, it becomes very easy to just hook your leg on it. If you have another band or belt, you can make a loop in the bottom of it and put it over your foot, or you can just loop both sides up and just make sure you can grab onto it with your right hand or same arm as leg. So I'm gonna come down, and there's a couple things I'm thinking about before I start yanking my heel in, okay? First, I wanna just lift that leg up and get my hip really close to the mat. Second, I wanna just make sure that I'm not holding on to any tension that doesn't need to be there. And then as I pull on the strap, I'm gonna think about reaching my knee backwards. So I'm pressing my hip down, pulling my heel in, and thinking about lengthening my knee towards the edge of the mat. And then we're just gonna breathe, and we're gonna imagine that that breath can travel from your hip to your knee, releasing anything that is kind of standing in the way as a tension obstacle. Good, relax out of it. Now, again, if you have the strap, you can bring it over your opposite shoulder and give it a pull there. Sometimes that can give you a little extra stretch for what you need. And then relax out of it. So let's bring it to the other side. I know it's a lot of coordination on your back, and there's probably a better way to set this all up, but sometimes doing it messy and making sure it gets done is just exactly what we need. All right, so let's lengthen that knee back. Let's find where we need to be, and let's pull in. We thought we had it all timed out perfectly, and we almost did. We almost made it. Took a little longer to log on today somehow. So press your hip, lengthen your knee, and breathe. I like to integrate all these stretches into some of our more strength building classes because, in all honesty, even myself with all the toys and the bells and whistles, let's take it over the opposite shoulder if you like, you know, it's real hard to make sure you get your nourishing, vitamin-filled movement in every day. And as you know, these things are important, especially for those of us who struggle with joint issues and any chronic pain. Let's take our hands underneath and let's sit back and just take a big long stretch in your child's or rest pose. So if we fit them into a class, then hopefully we'll get them done more often. I do have to say, in the past couple months of rehabbing injuries and kind of re-strengthening and examining some things and working with inflammation, all that good stuff, I have recognized that the more I prioritize these small movements, the therapeutic stuff, the easier it is to do the big ones. That might feel pretty obvious, but such is life. So I have, I hope you can see it. I've linked the stretch out strap in the chat if you would like to get one for yourself. They're relatively inexpensive. We'll definitely see them again. And then I wanted to remind you to watch this space. Today, if you follow me on Instagram at Jenna-Zaffino, I'm going to open registration up for my fall challenge. And this year, our challenge is to fall in love with walking. It's a sensory scavenger hunt. It's 2 weeks long, about 15 days. Each day, you're going to receive a clue of something you're going to be tasked to find. They are not necessarily objects, more of them are experiences. And the entire challenge is focused on you having an experience with the outdoors as the seasons change. It's not on calories, it's not on steps. Of course, you can track those things if you like to, but this one is really more for your soul and your spirit while you walk, while you get your steps. So there are assignments that have to do with sound and sight and smell, certainly touch, not so much taste, but you could integrate taste for sure. And I'm really excited to bring this challenge because it's one of these exercises that I give to clients when we're trying to build a sustainable habit. And a lot of times throughout the colder months, especially in the colder climates, when the weather turns cold, we go inside, and walking on a treadmill is something that is fine, but it's not very inspiring for me. I find being part of the seasons and, you know, bundling up and doing what I have to do to be outside is just a much more sustainable way to keep taking care of your mental health through the seasons and, you know, just your body and your physical health as well. So it's called the Fall in Love with Walking Challenge. I will absolutely post it here on YouTube in the community, excuse me, as well as my Instagram. And if you haven't joined my mailing list, please visit Jenna-Zaffino.com to do so. I do not send spam from time to time. I talk about programs or challenges that I'm doing, but mostly I'm sharing insights, stories, and health tips, and I try to make my emails very enjoyable. So hopefully you'll do that. And then in the meantime, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. I'll look forward to seeing you back on Monday for more bouncing. Thank you for being with me here today, and please repeat any stretches that felt good for you. Try to repeat them once again this week and the week ahead. Big love for you and to you, and I'll talk to you on Monday. Bye-bye.